All right. What's going on, everyone? Wednesday. Okay, hang on. Sorry. My assistant just texted me about some rescheduling. She says it was 7. She says she could talk on the phone. We can talk on the phone. Sorry. That's ridiculous. 8. Okay. Come on. Wow. All right. Now, let's get on. We'll get on Insta. We got YouTube going. All right, we got all the platforms. Here we go. How's everybody's week going? Wednesday, we hit the midpoint. Good week so far? Anything cool happening? Any wins? Any challenges? What's going on, everyone? How's our week doing? Do a kickflip. Hey, Franklin. I got to get on the kickflips. My foot's actually starting to feel better. I told everybody the situation I had with my foot with stepping on a sea urchin in Mexico. Yesterday was the first day actually where it felt like totally normal. So I think I'll be able to do some skating here. Tomorrow we're doing a company photo shoot at one of our properties at Saticoy. It's a big storage unit, and it actually has incredible flat ground. So maybe I'll bring a board tomorrow. I mean, I'm alive and healthy, so that's good enough for me. Savannah, yeah, that's something that I think we take for granted. We tend to complain about like the littlest things and forget how valuable it is to just wake up and be able to go out and live life one more day. So I think that's a great outlook. Hey man, Squat and Pop, what's up, my man? Just acquired 5 new properties. I'm managing in Park City. Congratulations. That's epic. What type of properties are they? Are they single family, multifamily, storage maybe? If it's 5, I'm just assuming here, but maybe single family. If not, dude, that's a big purchase. That's awesome. New skate park in Thousand Oaks soon. Right now, what we are trying to do is get the Newbury Park skate park rebuilt. We need a little bit of money for it. And I've already started to kind of at least brainstorm with Park and Rec on things that we can do to get that money in. So if we get the money, there's going to be a really cool park. We're going to scrape it. I think the new one's going to be like 3 times the size. It's going to be lit up. It's going to be what I wish I had when I was younger. I literally have done the sea urchin in Mexico as well. It's brutal. Anyone who's going to be in Mexico, be careful where you're swimming. Basically, where I was swimming out. There was no waves. It was like a lagoon. And it basically got real shallow real quick, and I just kind of scraped my foot, like not even hard. I wasn't even stepping down. Just kind of did like a light kick and 30 spines to the foot. It was brutal. Not fun. How do you feel about personal finance deals? Flywood guy, give me some more clarity on that one. What do you mean by personal finance deals? Do you drink or do drugs? I do not do drugs. If you're asking because of my eyes, Tawny, my assistant, said this the other day. She's like, the only thing about like your lives, I don't know if it's like the light, but like your eyes look so red. My eyes are permanently red. It will never go away. I have permanent damage to them. It doesn't hurt. I can see fine. They're forever red. Do I drink? I drink a little bit. I'm a big Scotch guy. Like whiskey. I like wine. Actually, we got into like red wines maybe like 10 years ago. I'm starting to like tequilas actually. Tequila, like whatever. When I was a kid, like we would do like the party tequila. But I should say this, like how I go about drinking, I'm just like, I'm an old guy now. Like I like having a drink, maybe 2, and like a nice conversation and quiet. I'm like, I've hit that, I don't know, OG status, I guess. Maybe it's not OG, maybe it's just old guy, but it'd still be OG, I guess. Yeah. Have you ever thought about leveraging your stocks to buy real estate? No, I haven't. When it comes to leverage, I only really use it in one category, and that's real estate. I don't know, the borrowing from stocks to buy something else that has risk. I don't know. I don't like that as much. It's too much risk for me. For me personally, like I'm very comfortable with risk when I'm the one driving it. Like I can start a business, I can put money into that business, which is high risk, and feel comfortable. When I'm taking on risks to put money into other people's control, and it's a little bit harder for me. So I kind of stay away from that. Come visit Chicago. It's been a long time since I've been out there. I'll have to get out. Hang on, I'm off on my centering. I might have to, let me see if this is gonna work. Give me 1 second. I know that's annoying. Instagram's got a lag on it, and it's horizontal. Okay, that's what I need. Boom. All right, yeah, it's been a long time since I've been out there. I am Sloth, thank you. I appreciate you. I own 12 units, but I'm cash broke to expand. Advice to expand. Okay, you really only have a couple of options, right? You start saving more, you borrow against your asset, but you got to be very careful with that, or bring on investors. That's something that we do. My first experience bringing on investors was with my first business, almost how long ago? 12, 13 years ago. I would bring on partners. I think it's actually such a good way to grow and go after opportunity. If you have it, bring partners in. Oh, Tawny joined. What's up, Tawny? Couldn't get enough of me, huh? All right, you look hammered, bro. I think it's my eyes, actually. Yeah, it's got to be my eyes. What sucks is permanent. That's like for life. Yo, Mikey, is it a dumb move to get a personal loan? Various question. Serious question. Is it dumb? Is it a dumb move to get a personal loan? No, it's not necessarily a dumb move. It really just comes down to you understanding ultimately the risk of borrowing that money and not being able to pay it back. And if you're comfortable with that risk, then you go for it. If you're not, then you don't. So dumb isn't the right actually question. I don't. You make dumb decisions when you're not fully aware of everything going on, and then something that you had no clue could potentially happen happens. So, I mean, I think you have a pretty good idea of what happens when you don't pay money back. So you'll have to gauge on if you're comfortable with that risk or not. Old guy, I feel it. I really, really do. Actually, you know what? I don't feel old, actually. I know I'm in a life cycle where if you brought me back to like 19 years old, I'm probably pretty old. I'm 40 now. I have 4 kids. I love being in the office working. It's, yeah, I don't know. Just, I guess new interest popped up, right? How are you making money with real estate? Are you renting? Okay, so how I make money with real estate. It's actually a really good question. There's 2 ways to make it, and I'll give you kind of the full scope of it. One is my business. So our business is a private equity real estate firm. We go out and raise money from investors, and then we take that money, we put it into different asset classes, and how we ultimately get paid or how our business generates revenue, we have a management fee. So out of all the money that we're managing, we have in all of our new funds, it's a 1% management fee, and some of our older funds, it's a 2% management fee. And then we get to participate on profits as well. And so that's the revenue that comes into the business. And then how I get paid, I have a salary from my business. I'm an owner in it. So when we do distributions, I get a distribution. And then I also get paid from the real estate I invest in. So my net worth, I probably have maybe 70 plus % of my net worth in our real estate investments. And those make money as well. So on the assets I'm invested in that have cash flow, that cash flow comes in, we pay out quarterly. Anytime there's a distribution, I get money. And then I get paid from being on city council. It's not that much, but I do get paid on city council. I get paid to speak. So I do speaking engagements. I make a little bit of money from like social media. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, but it's really small. And then any other investments I have. That's how I'm making money. Buying my first house at the moment. Looking into fix and reborrow. $90K to the house. Congrats. Congratulations. So let us know how it goes. If I'm doing lives or I'm on, you see a post, leave in the comments. I want to hear how the process goes. That's awesome. This is just the beginning, which is cool. Did you catch the X Games in Ventura? I missed it. I knew that Ventura was working on that deal for a long time with the X Games. Actually, one of the supervisors asked me to write a letter to the X Games about me being a pro skateboarder, skating in the X Games. And, he tried to get as many people as possible to, talk to the X Games to hopefully get them out there. And then they ended up getting it. I was in Mexico for it, unfortunately, but it looked rad. I saw all the clips and the highlights. I was stoked that they came. Where's the Mikey Days podcast? Squat and Pop. It's coming. It's coming. We have basically what's going on in real estate right now. There's a very unique kind of moment happening right now. And so we have 2 funds open. We have a 3rd fund that it looks like we're going to open. And so we're just raising a lot of money for those funds. Whenever we're raising money, my schedule just gets busier. And so I'm going to get through the capital raises and then put on the podcast. I got a couple other ideas of things I want to create, but I'm going to be in the streets raising money for a little bit. How do you think young Mikey would react to where you are in life now? That's a good question. Like 19-year-old me, I think there'd be parts of my life that 19-year-old me would be proud of. I think there's parts of my life where 19-year-old me would go, what? No way. Like absolutely no way. Running a business, I think younger me wouldn't have been surprised there. City council, that would have been a shocker. I don't think I ever saw that one coming. 4 kids, I don't think I saw coming when I was younger. But something I always wanted was a family. I always wanted to get married. I always wanted kids. That's something that I put as a very high priority in my future. And then the fact that I married the girl next door, maybe younger me would have been like, dang, okay, that's a crazy one. I mean, there's elements to like my story that are just kind of crazy. Like meeting Jen at 15 years old, ending up dating her when I was like 22, ended up getting married. Our parents still live next door to each other. We have 4 kids, start a brewery with 2 of my like best friends, sell it to Molson Coors, start a private equity firm, running for city council. Like some of this stuff, like I you can't even like make it up. It's wild. I feel like I'm just on the sidelines going, wow, this is crazy what's happening over there. So I don't know. So, in some aspect, I think younger me would be stoked. Me not skateboarding, younger me would have had a very tough time with that one. That even my wife like brought that up recently. We were playing, everybody know Drama, Chris Pfaff. He started a company called We're Not Really Strangers. It's a card company. It's awesome. And so, when they launched it, so I guess this was a little bit ago, my wife and I went out and bought a bunch of the games just to support him. And, we were looking at the cards, and it's basically ask people questions so that they can get to know the person next to them. Jen and I already know each other, but we just thought it'd be fun. And one of the questions was that I asked my wife, what's one thing that you never would have saw in me? Like, what's something that you expected would never have happened and it happened? And her answer was, I never would have thought I'd see you not skateboarding every day. Like, growing up, knowing you, especially when we were dating and then married, you were a psychopath. Like, you skated 24/7 all day. And anytime I wanted to do something with you, you said no because you couldn't give up a day of skateboarding, which there were some flaws in me for that one. But she was like, I just never would have thought that months would go by and you wouldn't even talk about skateboarding or go skate yourself. And what she also said, she's like, I miss you as a skater. Like I loved that part of you. So younger me wouldn't be stoked on that part, but I think it's for a time, right? It's like, I have a time right now where I have young kids. I want to be there with them. I have a growing business. I want to basically build this thing to at least the vision I have for it. I have 450 investors. Like, there's a lot of responsibility there's a lot of responsibility that we all hold, not just myself, my partners, all of the whole team, all of our employees. We're managing a lot of dollars. And, when you think of what goes into making money, we sacrifice our time to make money. Like our highest value that we have here, we sacrifice to make it. And then to give that money to somebody else for an investment, there's a lot of trust that goes into that. So there's a lot of responsibility on not just my shoulders, but all of ours. So I want to do well by our investors. And so I'm mindful of that, and basically everything with the city. My time is just really limited right now. And so I think there's going to be a point in my life where skateboarding comes back online, and especially if like one of my kids gets into it, that's going to be an easy one, because instead of me saying, oh, I'm not going to go spend time with the kids, I'm going to go skate, I don't have to make that call. If my son's like, Dad, let's go skate, say less, like, let's go. And so I think it's just for a time, hopefully. I bought your shoes twice because they felt so good. John, which shoe was it? Was it DC, Etnies, or DVS? I'm guessing it was DC. Those shoes were so good. That was one of my favorite shoes. Amazing answer, Mikey. Thanks for being so open. I appreciate you. Punters Inc., thank you. Put out another part, Chris Rogers film. I would love to do a old guy part, like a chomp on this part. I just need the time. It's just time. Like, one good thing about what I'm doing, like, I've had to really, really get good at time management. I've had to get really good at saying no, but it's like there's just not enough time. The part that I'd want to put out a good part. I'm a little bit more of a perfectionist, and so I just know how much time would go into it. I just don't have it now, but I would love for that to be something I do in the future. I would love that. That's probably what my girl would say too. Jeff. All right. I'm 22 and have 2 kids and living paycheck to paycheck. How would I be able to start getting financially stable? Tray flip. Okay. So you've got a handful of options. I'm going to be totally honest with you. They're not going to be easy, but they are doable. That's kind of the good news. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck, the first thing you have to figure out is where your money's going. This is not a fun exercise, but it's really important. You got to do a budget. The tool or the app we use is mint.com. It's a little bit complex, but it's pretty good. You've got to separate your expenses from the things you absolutely have to pay for and the things you want to pay for. So things that you have to pay for, these are the needs. This is going to be rent or mortgage. This is going to be insurance, transportation, food, right? The wants are going to be, food can be one of those, but maybe that's eating out. Maybe that's traveling. If you're wearing white tees and you want to get a brand tee, that step up would be wants, right? You've got to figure out what the wants amount is, because that's the first thing you can cut back on. Again, it's not fun. It sucks, but what the result of it can become is actually really important and really valuable. If you're spending all your money on needs, you really only have 2 options. It's get a second job or look for a different job that pays you more. Like, you got to bring in more income. Once you have more income, now here's your other option, right? Let's say you figured out your budget. What you really want to do is take a percentage out of every paycheck and automatically withdraw into a separate account, right? Most people pick 20%. Fire Movement, they pick more than 20%. Just pick something, even if it's 5%. You want to create the discipline of you taking money out of your check every month, and the very first thing is putting it into your savings and then investing. It's ultimately putting your future as a priority. Once you have that is typically It's the best path I've ever seen to saving. Also, when you save first, you put yourself at risk of defaulting on bills that you have to pay. That's usually the only thing that forces us into getting a second job or getting a better job. We usually won't do that just to save more money. The paying yourself model is huge. It's been massive for me. Everybody that I've told about it that's actually implemented it, I hear stories a year, 2 years down the road about, it helped them buy a house. It helped them buy something. They started investing. It's a powerful, powerful tool. If you're looking at needing a new job or looking at a job to make more money, look for ways to invest in yourself. I think this is something that, you hear people say it a lot, invest in yourself, but the importance of it can really, really open up your earning potential. Depending on what you do, right? You can take online courses to increase a skill or learn a new skill. You can read books, listen to podcasts, anything to increase that knowledge to then go out and earn more because of it. It's going to be powerful. So start looking for ways to increase skills that you can monetize. Can you please bring a Hood skate park to Thousand Oaks, please? Hood, Charlie, I'm thinking you're saying good. Did you mean to say good? If so, we're working on it. We're working on it right now. Aaron, but you're putting God aside. Invest in the afterlife, the eternal one. Aaron, okay, so if you're talking about a priority stack for me, at the true priority for me, that's first. God, my faith, that's number one. But I typically talk about finance just on this channel because that's kind of the lane I'm in. So that's usually where I'm putting the focus, but I totally agree with you. I think I think this is a good way to look at it. This is something that I think actually every person should ask themselves these three questions, regardless if you believe in God or not. Is one, why are you here? Why are we here? That's ultimately our identity, right? Why are we here? Two, oh gosh, now I'm blanking at it. Coming back to it. Who are you, right? That's the identity. Who are you? Why are you here? That's your purpose. And then destiny is where do you go after this, right? Those three questions we should have answers to no matter what. Because if we don't know who we are and why we're here, it's absolutely impossible for us to live a life that's meaningful and ultimately using our skills to create any type of impact. Those two things we should absolutely know, regardless of if you have a faith or not. The destiny part, what happens to us after this, that's something that I think we should all answer. Because what happens next should really impact the way we live today. And so I think a lot of us avoid that question because it's scary. But I do think every single one of us should answer those questions. I think they're incredibly important. That's nice. You believe in one God. You knew Islam is the only religion that is monotheistic. Yeah, now talking about different religions and what you believe, I think those are really, really fascinating conversations. The best conversations I have, I'll tell you guys right now, one of my partners is Jewish, Orthodox Jew, and I'm a Christian. And so we have some of the best conversations because basically they believe in the Old Testament only, and Christians believe in Old Testament and New Testament. So we have some really, really fascinating conversations. That's kind of my favorite thing, actually. I like talking to people that have different views than me if they're in a position to actually, it's not just articulate their views. If they can talk about their views and not get emotionally worked up and go into a intense argument, those are some of my favorite conversations. I think it's good when you're challenged because it makes you really build out your viewpoint and strengthen that viewpoint. And I think it's just interesting in general. Can you repeat what you said about saving and how to make yourself get a new job? I think it's important and I'd love to write it down in my notes. Hail skateboards. Yes, I can. So when it comes to savings And I have a video on this. If you want to go to either my YouTube or Commune Capital's YouTube and just search Pay Yourself First, we have a full video breaking down exactly how this is done. But it's called Pay Yourself First. What it means is when you get a check, right when that check comes in, the very first thing that happens is there's an automatic withdrawal of a certain percentage that goes into a separate account. That separate account at first is going to be to build your savings and your emergency fund. It's typically 3 to 6 months of your expenses. And then from there, you're going to start investing. When we talk about getting a new job, what's good about that model is if you're in a position where you need to make more money, right? All of your money is getting spent on needs, not wants, needs. If you pay yourself first, you're putting yourself in a position to default on things you have to pay for. That's typically the only thing that's going to force us to get a second job, create a side hustle, look for a new job, etc. And so it just ends up producing really, really good results. As far as investing in yourself, and somebody told me this actually when I was skating. I guess I'll tie this into a story. My mentor started teaching me all of these concepts when I was young. First thing he said when we talked about making more money was look for ways to invest in yourself. Now, I was a pro skateboarder at that point. So I had two ideas. One, I felt like if I got better at skateboarding, that would then, give me more demand, meaning more kids would like the way I skated and would want to buy more of my product. And then if they bought more of my product, I could make more money, right? So the first way I invested into myself to make more money was renting out a private skate park. We put money into, it was called Beebles Park, but there was like 12 of us that paid every month to have that place. And so we would have a place where we could just learn new tricks and ultimately get better. The second way I invested in myself was with Mikey Days. I was looking for a way to, it was actually my wife. This is a good story. My wife was a big driver at Mikey Days. So one thing my wife used to always say to me is you need to connect with people beyond you just riding a skateboard. My wife would always say, like, anytime she would watch me skate, she'd go, it's so funny watching you fall or watching you struggle. Like when you're having a hard time, you actually become really funny. Bring people into that. Like show people what your life actually looks like. And when she said that, I was like, at first, no, like people don't care about me. Like they care about the tricks I do. And then after a while, I realized she was right. And I started looking for ways to actually put more of my personality out there. And so one thing I did to invest in myself was I bought a video camera, which was the investment. Wasn't a huge investment. But then I invested my time to film these weekly episodes called Mikey Days, which a lot of you guys know. And I filmed basically a day in the life of my life with my friends, and we put it on the barracks. It aired every other week, right? So I had a time commitment, a little bit of an investment, and I was putting myself out there. Mikey Days changed everything for me. And I've told this story before. I went to Woodward with Mike Moe and Sean Malto, Mike Moe. And prior to that, I had been pro for like 7 years. I just put out a video part in the Alien Workshop video. I had a pro shoe. Like I thought I was like kind of like a bigger, I don't want to say big deal, but like a bigger pro. I go to Woodward with Mike Moe and Sean, and it's the busiest week of the year. Every kid wanted to be there for that week. And we get there, we get in the golf cart, and it's a sea of kids swarming us, right? All I hear is, Mike Moe, Malto. And then every once in a while I hear a faint Mikey, right? It was like so humbling. I was like, wow, like I'm like on the way out. I was tripping, right? I leave Woodward. I see my wife. She's like, how'd it go? I'm like, dude, I might be like getting close to the end. Like the new kids coming up, they have no clue who I am. Like they could care less. That's when I put the time into starting Mikey Days. I went back the next summer. It was like I was a whole different pro. Every single kid that was there knew who I was, wanted to talk to me, get autographs, changed everything. And what that meant for my career, I ended up being a pro for another, 7 years after that. I started making more money than I had ever made before. I started selling more product than I had ever made. That investment of money and time resulted in a higher return than anything I had ever done previously and probably future forward. So look for ways to increase or learn a skill that you can then go out and monetize. That the good part about that, you can monetize it over and over again. So always look for ways to invest in yourself. When did you get your first piece of real estate, and what did you learn from it? All right, my first purchase was my first house. I bought it in 2005. What I learned, there's gonna be a lot of people that aren't gonna like this, but what I learned was owning a home ultimately is not an investment in my eyes. This was probably the biggest lesson I ever learned. I went in thinking this was going to be the greatest investment I had ever made. I went out going, I will never look at a home as an investment again. But that's nuanced. There are a lot of phenomenal reasons to own a home. I just don't think it being an investment is one of them. I think you should own a home because no one can force you out. Like, you don't have to have a landlord that's going to say you need to move out or I'm going to move in, and so it's no longer a place that you could rent. You don't have somebody that's really raising your rents on you, so there's somewhat of a fixed cost. And more importantly, it's your home. You get to do whatever you want to it. And then I would say the fourth part, it is a built-in savings account. Like, it forces you to put money into a home that historically is going to appreciate and be there for you when you retire. So I do think it is important that there's a built-in savings, but when I was looking at it as an investment, there were things that my wife wanted to do, like build out the backyard or redo the kitchen, and I couldn't ever justify it, right? Like, I bought my home in 2005. 10 years later, it's worth less than what I bought it for. And I'm thinking, I'm going to put more money into this home. I'm never going to get it out. Like, I couldn't find the return on my investment. And so I said no to a lot of things. It wasn't until I learned that there were a lot more reasons to put money into a house than make a return on a dollar in, dollar out basis. And once I understood that, everything changed. Even the relationship with my wife got smoother and better after that. So I would say that was probably the greatest thing I ever learned. It's very important to own a home. Don't view it as an investment. View it as your home. Man, I've been skating all my life pretty much in our small town in Canada, and my friends, as we grew up, has all stopped and rather have parties and drinks a lot, which I wasn't into. Yeah, that one, with that, I ended up with almost no homies anymore. And now at 28, my body already hurts from time to time. And specifically with work, it's getting hard to skate every day. And I used to, and now going, yeah, this is something that's really common for a skater. Same thing happened to me. All my friends I grew up with, there weren't that many friends that made it into, at least when I became a pro skateboarder, a lot. Well, I would say this, as I was trying to become a pro skateboarder, there was a big split in friendships from there. I had a lot of friends that, same as you, got into partying, were more focused on girls and weren't focused on skating. And I was going down a different path. So there was a point where I had to split off and put my attention towards where I was going because our paths just weren't aligned at that time. And then I went into being a pro skateboarder. So it's like not everybody at 28, 29 years old gets to skate every day. So I had to find new friends. So my friends became more pro skateboarders. And then just as you get older and you start having these, you get into this different life cycle, your friends change. The majority of my friends now have kids and are more aligned with what we're all trying to do over the next 10 years versus what we were all trying to do at 19. But I do still have some close friends from my childhood, and they'll be, at this point, friends with me forever. The one that you guys know, at least that's relevant in this conversation, is Paul. Like, I've been friends with Paul Rodriguez since he was 13 years old. We still talk and see each other all the time. So he's going to be a lifetime one. But yeah, it's okay. Like, I think friends are there's certain friends that are meant for a certain time in your life. And, when you look back, they were supposed to be there in that moment and vice versa. And that might change, right? But as you start changing your focus and putting a priority towards something that maybe isn't common for other people, you're going to lose friends for that. It's just the reality of it. So I think it's hard. It's not easy, but it's kind of life. Happy Wednesday, Mikey. I have $100K to invest in real estate. What would you do to get started? First thing I would say is, are you doing the real estate or are you investing with others? If you're doing the real estate, first things I would do is educate myself, right? You need to know how to underwrite a deal to make sure it's a good deal. You have to understand how to lock in your financing, and then you have to manage the property or get a property manager. So once you understand how to do it, just be aware that it's not going to be passive. It is going to be kind of a second job, which is okay, but you need to know that going in. A lot of people think when you buy real estate, you don't have to do anything and cash starts coming in. That's not the case. This will take your time. And so the question you have to answer is, if you're taking time putting it towards something else, are you diluting something that actually is a greater opportunity to make money? It might not be the case. Maybe you have a W-2 job. There's not a lot of upside. You need to start sacrificing time elsewhere to build something up that you can control. Then that could be an awesome path. If you're investing passively, meaning you don't want to do any of the work, you don't want to manage it, you just want to make money off of an investment, then you're just underwriting the team. Like, who are the groups that you're investing in? What's their experience? What's their track record? And then, is what they're investing in aligned with your goals? And so that's what you're looking for. If you are looking for something passively, we actually have 2 offerings opened up. If you're on Instagram, I just set this thing up. If you want to DM me invest, just the word invest, I've got a program that's just capturing, get your name, number, if you're accredited, and then we could schedule a call to see if my investment in our company lines up with you. If anybody wants to check that out, you can. But if you're doing it actively, education, and then you go for it. And your head's down. This isn't going to be something that happens quick. Any chance of an upgraded skate park in Thousand Oaks? We're working on it right now. Well, it would technically be Newberry Park. That's the one we're working on. We just need to line up more financing. But the plans are already there. The contract with the company, California Skate Parks, is there. That's going to be a sick one. It's really cool. 3 times the size. It's going to be lit up. Generational wealth is better than generational excuses. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Happy Wednesday. Oh, I already got that one. All right. Now I'm focusing my energy on the first house I bought 2 weeks ago and my family. Daddy, great firm. Congratulations. That is huge, man. Congrats. You're in a fun place in life. Is there any benefit in refinancing your home? Right now, probably not. Most debt or most interest that people are paying right now is about 3%. If you refinance, your interest rate's going to more than double. I don't think that's a good time to refinance. Now, you might not have a good loan. You might have a variable loan. You might be in a different situation. But if you have long-term fixed debt at 3% or less, even 4%, there's a really good chance that we don't see rates come down to that low again. And you may be hanging on to that thing for a long, long time in a good way. I mean that in a good way. All right, I've got to head out here soon. Non-accredited opportunities with Commune coming very soon. We're really, really close there. Unfortunately, what we got hit with is the moment. Like, there are so many more deals right now. Like, we can't raise money fast enough for opportunity. We're having to, like, we have good opportunity that we're saying no to. And so what that means, it's all hands on deck for us right now to basically go after the moment, because in my perspective, we're stepping into a time where there's going to be a lot of wealth created over the next 10 years. And so we want to go after it. Because of that, we kind of had to put it's a Regulation A+ offering on the back burner. So hopefully the beginning of next year, sometime next year, we can have that thing up and running. That's a big goal of mine to have, but timing kind of pushed it back a little bit, unfortunately. Do you have courses? I don't have any courses. I've been floating the idea of doing like a mentorship group. Maybe like the idea I'm having is maybe like a weekly call like this, a weekly hour call. Maybe we go over a topic for 20 minutes, and then the rest of it is like Q&A and very, very detailed. Like you talk about a problem you're having, you want to learn something, we really hone in on building it out. I'm kind of playing around with that. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that could be a cool way to offer information and value to as many people as possible. Tim, or there's a really good chance you are actually smarter than me or have a higher IQ. Maybe you just haven't put in the time to learn as much, but I'm a big believer in if I can do it, you can do it. There's absolutely nothing special about me. I just put in the time of learning things and then going and doing them in real life. And when you do it in real life, it's stuck in there forever. So you can do this. You really, really can. I would join in the mentorship group. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we do that. I'm in. Okay. Yeah, what do you guys think? Once a week? Like we do like an hour a week or an hour every other week? I think that could be cool. All right, everybody. I appreciate you greatly. Tomorrow we're doing a photo shoot at one of our properties, and then we have to do our quarterly update for our investors, which we're doing at one of our properties. And that's going to go late. So tomorrow I'm going to be completely out of the office. I'll be back on Friday. If you guys want to jump on live, let's do it then. And I'll finish with this. 3 books to absolutely read when flipping or investing real estate. I'm going to give you one. Start with this one, Set for Life. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal book. It's a really, really good one. All right, everybody. I'll see you guys. Have a phenomenal night. Have